When I was a junior in college, I moved off campus into an apartment and I was off the meal plan. So for the first time, I was on my own when it came to dinner every night. So I had to learn how to make something other than, just heating something up in the microwave. And so what I learned how to make was spaghetti. And I'm going to show you how to make it. So what you'll need is spaghetti, salt maybe, I'm not really sure if it's necessary, a can of whole tomatoes, a can of olives, black olives, a ball of garlic, and some olive oil. And I think that covers the essential ingredients. So before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that this is the first time I'm making this recipe. I actually usually use a jar of tomato sauce and make the spaghetti, but I'm actually going to be making the spaghetti sauce myself this time. This recipe has been provided by my friend Bia, so I hope it will be a good recipe. If you're just starting out, you can get away with just using the pre-made tomato sauce. I used to buy Emerald's tomato sauce, but then I got my own cooking show, so he's kind of my biggest competitor. So I've switched over to Newman's Own because they said that if you read the label, it says that they donate all profits and royalties after taxes to educational and charitable purposes. So now if I'm walking down the street and someone comes up to me and they say, hey, can you donate $10 to this charity or to this educational institution of some sort, I can say, oh, no, thank you. I just had spaghetti. You can learn how to make it on my website at thewiz.com/food. So the first thing we need to do is open up a can of tomatoes and drain all the excess water. Open up the can and it looks, I don't really see any water in here. It looks like it's tomato juice to me. So I'm going to assume that by water, Bia means any kind of liquid. So without completely breaking the seal here on the can, I've still have the lid in place, and I'm just going to pour into the sink. And I'm assuming if it doesn't come out easily, then it shouldn't come out. And, yeah, I don't know, some of this is looking kind of solid that's coming out here. So I'm not going to drain too hard. Yuck. This is really gross, by the way. I've noticed that a lot of things when you're cooking are gross, and it made me think, I'm grossed out by a lot of things in life, and I haven't cooked a lot. And so I now think that all these people who can get through these really gross things that I couldn't handle, maybe they're actually chefs, because a chef sees something gross and says, well, in my experience, at some point this may turn delicious. Alright, so I've drained just about everything that I think I can drain. And now I have the lid of the can going inwards, and I'm afraid if I try to pull it out, I'm going to cut myself. So I'm going to get like a fork or a spoon or something. I don't think I've ever used this big spoon for anything. Okay, the lid of the can is now outwardly. So according to Bia's recipe, the next step is to mash up the tomatoes with a fork while still inside the can. And her instructions say to just giggle it all around somewhat violently. I think giggle is a misspelling of jiggle, but I'm not really sure. So I'm going to take this fork and stick it in this can and do whatever I can somewhat violently. Okay, so I think I have it to a saucy-like consistency. It's still pretty chunky, but, you know, I guess it's chunky style. The next step is to peel 2 garlic cloves. Now, garlic has been a challenge for me in the past. It's quite a confusing fruit and or vegetable. The problem is that it's got so many layers and I never know exactly when I'm supposed to stop. But I do know what cloves are. I'm pretty sure. I determined that they are these, you know, larger chunks here. So 2 cloves. Oh, I can't use that one. I dropped that in the sink. Well, here's... there goes the other one. Here's 1 clove. And here's a 2nd clove. And now for the challenging part is figuring out just how much I'm supposed to peel. And like I said last time, I used to have a tool where you just put it in and roll it. And while I have the case for that tool, I still do not know where the actual tool is. It's just a rubber cylinder. But I'll just peel it manually here. Now I think I figured it out. There's one point in the layers where the garlic gets really smooth, and that's what I'm going to say is the layer that you're going for. Go for the smooth layer. Now I know that garlic is supposed to give you bad breath, but I realize as I'm peeling it, it actually smells pretty good on its own. Although I can see why you wouldn't want to smell that on someone's breath. Isn't there something called baby breath? I don't really understand that. I think it's some sort of like plant or something. But what an odd thing to name something. So now I have 2 cloves peeled down to the smooth layer. According to the recipe, the next step is to crush these cloves using a hard edge like the side of a knife and smash it such that it's not in pieces, but that the innards are exposed. And she also says to me, or if that's too challenging, just cut it into quarters. Well, I accept her challenge, and I will crush until the innards are exposed. That was not challenging at all. Okay, don't freak out, we just changed angles. I know you haven't seen the kitchen from this perspective before, but deal with it. So, back to Bia's recipe here. We're supposed to put a tablespoon or less, olive oil into a saucepan and heat. Now for those of you who are new to cooking, let me explain to you. This is a saucepan. Yes, I know, it's a pot, but it's known as a saucepan. This is a frying pan. This is not a saucepan. One of the first times I was home alone and had to make lunch for myself when I was very young, probably about 2 years old. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, I was pretty young. And I wanted to make, I think it was, what, Campbell's tomato soup or chicken noodle, probably chicken noodle soup or something like that. And I was reading the directions, and it said to pour the can of soup into a saucepan. And I knew from watching my mom that you're supposed to cook soup in a pot. But I was alone, I didn't want to screw it up, so I decided to follow the directions. I saw a saucepan. I didn't know what a saucepan was, but I know what a pan is and I know what a pot is. This is a pot and this is a pan.